The 1991 Italian 125 Grand Prix at Arco, situated in the valley surrounded by the snow-capped mountains of northern Italy. The young Brit rider Craig Prattley qualified for his first 1991 Grand Prix, despite a practice crash which left him nursing a damaged ankle. The medical attention which he received at the trackside from the mobile medical unit can only be described as excellent. Painkilling injections and a well-strapped dressing allowed him to race. Young Craig, who leads the home 125 championship, was hoping to score some useful points, but the injury really just put a big damper on this. Young Warren Edwards and Matt Gordon also qualified, but unfortunately the youngster Neil Prince, who's shown tremendous form at home, failed to make the grade. The thousands of Italians have packed into the circuit to watch their favourite riders. It's a beautiful sunny day here at the Italian circuit as we wait for the riders to come onto the line, and here they are, led by Pedro Tragter number 7, who set the fastest time in training, 2:24.811 with an average speed of 48.725 kilometres an hour, followed in by Stefan Everts number 3, then Donny Scmit, the current reigning champion number 1. Their line up there, Scmit and Tragter there side by side as we wait for the gate to drop for the start of the 1991 125 World Championship Series. It's down, they're away into that first corner, that left-hander. Right and left hand they go, very sharp. One or two have taken a tumble. And who's it going to be? Well, we've heard a roar from the crowd, they've gone wild. Andre Bartolini has taken an early lead in this first leg of this 125 race. But it's not for long. Tragter moves up into the lead. Bartolini now down into second, number 4. So Pedro Tragter looking for the first race win. Scmit is in there somewhere. But it's Tragter who is away at the moment on the Suzuki. Bartolini's still there. And there is the reigning world 125 champion, the American Donny Scmit, in third. So we could see something happen in the next lap or two. 3 Suzukis. Looks like we've got a change again at the front. Number 3, Stefan Everts. He now seems to pull his way up into the lead. Really, this 125 stuff, and that's Craig Prattley, the young Brit, obviously finding that an ankle injury is just too much for him, and he's obviously either been off the bike or has decided to pull out of the race, but he's out, and that's a crying shame for the young lad. There's Scmit, number 1. Many expected him to move up into the 250 class for this year, but no, he stayed with the 8th leader bikes. Everts it is that still leads, number 3. Really, there's nothing else on this track that can touch these Suzukis. So Everts it was who took the win. Scmit there in second position. So that's 20 points for Everts, 17 for Scmit. The Biaffi Suzuki riders congratulating each other. Second heat on the line. Gate drops, they're away again. This is Moto 2. Leading away, it's Parcel Ball who's taken the lead on the first corner. We've got a pile up there, and Everts is amongst that lot. Stefan Everts, the Suzuki rider, in amongst that lot. But short-lived for Bale because Donny Scmit has taken over at the front. Scmit away as they charge up over the humps and the bumps and the jumps of this Arco circuit here in Italy. The dust beginning to rise as the pack of riders go through. This is exciting stuff. And we've got a lot of smoke. That's Craig Prattley's bike. It's gone up in a cloud of smoke, so I suspect possibly a broken ring of some kind there as the leader comes through, the American, the current world champion, Donny Scmit, number 1. Stefan Everts will be charging his way through. Pedro, number 13 there. He's through in 3rd spot. A lot to do for Everts. Charles Eggman, he's 3rd with Bob Moore 4th. Bera there in 5th. Everts is back in 40th position. His front mudguard flapping around, so he really has got some work to do. But he's on the charge. Everts is really going for it. In the back of your picture. This track is certainly very rough. Bartolini, number 4. Look at the back of that bike stepping out. Very, very hard. Very slippery. Now there's Everts. He's really on a charge. Son of the famous Harry Everts from back in the 50s and 60s. Those of you that are probably as old as I am will remember those days well. As the pack charge through, going hard. Ooh, someone's gone a little bit too hard for that corner. That's the young Danish rider, 59, Klaus Nielsen. He's taken a big tumble over the bars. Under brake in the back end, steps out, but he's not going to give up. He's getting back on the bike. I wouldn't like to say what the Italian answer from the marshal is to that gesture, but I'm sure he's asking for a little bit of assistance. He's back at the bike as we look at the race leader, Scmit, number 1, where he's so accustomed to being at the front. Second place man gets the board. It's Bob Moore, another American, number 2. In back behind Moore, number 13. Well, unlucky for some, but certainly lucky for this lad. He really is having a tremendous race. Peter Bera. There's Bartolini. Bera not one of the quickest in time training, 12th altogether. Dutch rider as they charge through. As the race leader beginning to pick off the back markers. This circuit really is demanding. Bob Moore, only about 5 foot nothing. He's actually smaller than I am. Bera going through. Listen to the back end of that bike shaking on the bumps and the humps. Really rough. 114. Great ride here into 4th place from Wild Willie Surratt. Not so wild now. And it's a win then for number 1, Scmit. 2nd came Moore, 3rd was Peter Bera, 17th place was Warren Edwards, and in 22nd place, our home hero, young Matt Gordon.
Donny Scmit, a very successful day's racing.
Yeah, it was pretty good for me. Wasn't so good in the first heat. I didn't feel too good. I wasn't clicking with the bike. The bike wasn't working with me. But that happens because maybe I was a little tense, a little nervous maybe for trying to show people that I was number 1. And the second heat was a little better. I got a okay start, not so great. And a couple guys I had to pass, got by those guys, and kept a distance between me and Bob. And watched my pit board real close and just stayed, I think it was like 16 seconds distance, and watched him and just rode my own race, really. It was nice to have a lead like that.
But a very successful start to defending the number 1 plate.
Yeah, well, it was perfect for me, you know. Got good points, 2nd the first moto, and 1st in the 2nd moto, so I think that's 37 points. That's perfect. If I could do that all year, I'd be champion again, I'm sure.
Do you feel it's going to be harder to defend the title than to win it?
Yes, definitely. I think it's going to be, the most important thing is to be consistent, just like today. And it's going to be hard with Stefan, my teammate, and all the other guys that want that number one. You know, it makes it aggressive. I know from firsthand, watch in the Nationals back in the U.S., you know, a number one passes you, you don't want him to go, so you go after him hard. Or if you're catching number one, you want him bad because he's number one. So it's going to be tough. It's a lot harder to defend a title than get one, but I think, well, I don't think. I'm going to try very hard to do it, and I've been training, and we'll see what happens.
You must have been fairly happy to see the pit board come out on the first lap when it said Stefan 40th place. It gave you some breathing space because he did look quite quick today, didn't he?
Yeah, oh, definitely. He's real good at this rocky stuff and ruddy corners because he practiced on stuff like this. But I knew ahead of time that he wasn't right up in the hunt for everything because the first four guys were a little slower, and I got by those guys right away, so I knew I had four guys between me and Stefan. And I also was next to him on the start when he was hitting some people and getting banged around, and I had a clear way through, and I knew he was stuck back in the pile somewhere, but when I came around, I didn't
know where he was.
Geez, he was, I think my pit board said 37th or 40th, and that's but he did a good job coming back, and that's what the team needs, you know, somebody's a fighter and comes back.
And girlfriend of 7 years, you tell me.
Yes.
You've enjoyed today?
It was great. I was nervous, but I videotape all day, and it's kind of shaky, but it was good. I was proud of him.
Do you get pumped up over the first round of the World Championship?
Yeah, I do.
She helps out a lot. She does all the goggles, all the gear. So we are a team.
She's a very important member of that team.
Big
I like
time.
to help him when he's training, so I know he can be tough in the races.
She runs with me and
really
and listens to me when I'm bickering about my training and things. So it's
not
nice.
only today that you work; it's in the week as well.
Yeah. But I like it. I like
and it's
motocross.
hard for her, you know.
I'd like to thank you both very much for taking time out to speak to us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
American Donny Scmit scored a further 35 points in France, with a first heat win followed by a second heat third. He then went on to a third round in Holland to win both races despite a heavy crash a few days before the French International, which incidentally was won by our own Britain's Kurt Nicholl. Teammate Stefan Everts scored well in the next two rounds, finishing third, followed by 3 seconds respectively to keep himself second place in the championship. Bob Moore, desperately seeking a little bit more power, struggled in the Dutch sand, but had a comfortable overall third place. Young Pedro Tragter, after a mediocre start, is going up the championship table. But how far will he go? Barring injuries, he looks sure to improve on his current number 7 plate. The long-haired Frenchman Yves Demare crashed in the first moto in France, but won the second. His Dutch results were good enough to keep him in 5th place. Special praise must go to the Midlander, Matt Flash Gordon, who failed to score in Italy, but ties in 16th place after scoring in France and Holland.